the new agreement. So,
You guys ready?
are you ready?
Thank you, Danny, for
Yeah.
this.
Mhm.
All right, let's do
Okay.
it.
We're good.
All right, welcome to the Finance Committee. It's Tuesday, February 13th. I'm Alderman Moore, chairing the committee. I'm joined by Alderman Stoyer, Alderman Duane, and Alderman Slottick. Thank you. We also have Alderperson Dorf, Alderman Zima, and Alderman Menig in the audience today. First item of action would be for the approval of the agenda. I have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Item number 3 is approval of the minutes from January 30th.
Move approval.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Item number 4 is discussion with possible action regarding the financial impact to the general levy for property owned by the Green Bay Housing Authority. So I had a discussion with Alderman Nicholson, Alderman Slottick, and myself. Had a conference call along with HUD. They were able to answer a lot of our questions. My conversation with Alderman Nicholson is that he agrees that we should go ahead and accept the amended pilot that has been negotiated. And then he has another communication he'd like to make regarding the resolution, but since that's not an agenda item, that should really be taken as a separate communication.
I get another day.
Yep, on another day. So right now, I would just ask that,
So moved up.
Receiving.
okay, we get the motion by Alderman Duane
Second.
and second by Alderman Stoyer to accept the amended pilot. All in favor?
Aye.
Could you just
Yep.
tell us what that is?
Yes, Cheryl, are you able to just say what the amendment is, or
How much do you want, please?
the difference? I believe it was like about a $23,000 increase approximately.
We would be paying $32,009. I just want to make sure I'm looking. The total for the Green Bay Housing Authority would be $65,159, or $160 if we rounded it up.
Okay.
The scatter site specifically would be $32,222 if we round it up, compared to the $9,200 that we were otherwise thinking.
Thank you.
Well, I think there, Alderman Nicholson, and your efforts, Mr. Slide's efforts are commended. And just by a little effort, it made a big difference for us, so I just want to congratulate you.
Absolutely. Alderman Nicholson really did a good job on this one, bringing this forward. Absolutely. Okay, so that is approved. Item number 5 is discussion with possible actions to pay a past due amount to Hagemeister Park for annual rental of restroom area from 2012 to 2017 in an amount not to exceed $22,000.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Alderman.
Yeah,
Duane.
I just want to say right now, I cannot vote for this. I mean, they can try to explain this any way they can, but I won't support it. Just, I don't think we owe it to them. I know our attorney said that there's some kind of agreement that wasn't signed or anything like that, but they really benefit for what Green Bay does around there. I mean, to the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then to charge us to use those bathrooms is, I think, an insult. Thank you.
I'm ready to go ahead and support this. I mean, I looked at the documents that were supplied in our packet. This obviously did get discussion back at a P&W meeting some years ago. And then there's evidence here that Assistant Attorney Miller had worked on an agreement and had gotten direction to do so from Attorney Walkowitz. Now, I think we need to learn from this, that we never got that agreement signed is a real problem.
Right.
But we did incur an obligation. It was dealt with at a committee meeting, and I think we have a bill here that we ought to pay.
Is there
What
any
about for future reference? So I would think that anytime we have another situation like this, we need to have it signed. We have to have a signed agreement of sorts.
That's what I mean, but we've got to
Right.
learn
We
from
need to-
this screw-up of not having a signed agreement.
Right, I agree.
Can I ask you something?
Yes, Alderman
Now,
Duane.
this is for up to 2017, correct? Do we have an agreement to them for 2018?
It was for a period of 6 years, and so it ran from when they opened in summer of 2013, so it would have gone to 2012, so it would have gone to 2018. Instead, we just went ahead and cleaned it up, agreed to pay for what was paid or what was past due up to 2017, through 2017.
But we didn't sign another contract with them, did we?
2018, we entered into, you guys already approved the amount, and so that one is being done for $3,500. It's on a one-year basis, so if it's not working for us, Parks has the opportunity to explore the
When did we
budget.
do this?
It's part of the
I mean,
budget.
I mean, it was just part of the budget, but it was discussed that we were gonna pay Hagemeister? I don't ever remember that. We keep running into these where it's part of the budget, but don't ever remember us discussing these amounts or anything. It seems like you and your staff got this little room that you put all these contracts in and say the council voted for this stuff.
Did that one go through the Parks Committee?
I was gonna say, is that Parks?
Yeah.
I-
You remember that?
Yeah, but was there in a budget, was it actually brought up and said, I mean,
It was
the
discussed
parks
at
got their
budget meeting.
budget.
Director Kramer had said that she had put an extra $5,000 in for the Hagermeister bathrooms. It's in the contractual line item.
Okay.
I do remember
Because
that.
someone had
Okay.
asked why that line item had
Yeah.
gone up, and then she explained a couple reasons. And one was she had put a $5,000 in there for the bathrooms, because she knew this agreement was going forward.
Okay, I
It could have been up
apologize.
to $5,000.
I apologize.
Okay, I believe I asked that question.
Okay, I apologize.
All the
But
while,
I-
it was $5,000, and at least the attorney has negotiated it down to $3,500 a month, a year instead of $5,000. That was the original agreement and an original amount.
Okay,
Correct.
so it's good, I mean, so we paid for 2018.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we should really watch this. You know, they got bathrooms all over downtown. To pay somebody to,
Oh, just the
somebody's
public,
walking through.
public access though from the
Yeah.
city deck, there's not.
I know.
Through the back
But-
doors, you know.
But they're also have their tavern outside, and they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars for what we do down there.
Alderman Zima, did you have a comment first?
I had a
And
question.
then Alderman Henry.
Um,
Sorry.
From 2012 to 2017, was there ever a contract that was proposed and approved by the city, by the committee and the city council?
They said it was never signed.
Proposed and never executed.
Correct.
Proposed,
Well,
approved, but it was never
executed.
drafted.
In other words, that it never went through the council, this was never approved as an expenditure by the council. It's just some people talked to him about it. It never was finalized. Never, was it ever approved by the common council, by a committee and the common council? If it was, why weren't we paying it?
So I can't speak to whether or not it ever went through common council in the past. What I can tell you is that we do have an issue with unjust enrichment in the sense that we have been using their bathrooms this entire time without any compensation. And so if they bring a claim against us, we will have to pay them for it.
Well, I just quarrel with that. We is who? The city of Green Bay? The deck is there, whether there's a bathroom or not is, we're not obligated to provide a bathroom. They could use any bathroom they wanted to. They usually use the bathroom of a place that they're enjoying the services of. I don't get this at all. I certainly wouldn't have voted for it unknowingly. We were paying $3,500 in 2018. And I appreciate there's some kind of dispute, but that was never signed, sealed, and delivered or approved by the council. What are we doing paying it? There's nothing in the rule books that says that, because we have parks that don't have bathrooms. We try to put them in sometimes. I think we're gonna put one in this year. But it's not an obligation. And now, these people think, after all the subsidy and all the improvements that were made in that area, which is nothing but provide aggrandizement to their operation, and something petty like this, they've come and done us for this kind of money. I'm with Mr. Duane. This was not signed, sealed, delivered, not approved by the council. So what are we doing paying it? Why are we doing back payment for some agreement we never had?
Can I ask a question? Vanessa, you were talking that if it's not paid, that they would bring suit. Is that what your thought was?
I'm saying that there is one of the causes of action, so it's not just a breach of contract. Obviously, that doesn't apply because we don't have an executed agreement.
Right.
But one of the other causes of action that can be brought up in lieu of a contract is unjust enrichment, meaning that you have received a benefit of some sort, even though there wasn't a contract in place, and you should be paid for the benefit that has been bestowed upon the other party. And so here, we have that exact scenario, which is we had an understanding of sorts where they believed they were going to be compensated for use of the bathrooms. We had agreements or terms that had been proposed. Both parties were working forward towards that. And then for whatever reason, it was never executed, but they still allowed us to use those bathrooms as public bathrooms. And so if this goes to litigation, we will have a claim for, they will have a claim for unjust enrichment.
I have another question, Mr.
Maybe if I might just add something.
Was there a sign that said, public bathrooms?
Yes.
Go here?
Yes.
Yes.
Was that there?
It's there.
Yeah.
Take it down.
I'm sorry, it's almost like,
I
Dave.
just
come right
want
back
to
you.
add one piece of information for Alder Zima. We do have evidence in our packets, emails from back in 2012, where our city staff was discussing the development of a contract for just this purpose. Now, it never got executed, but it's clear that there was discussions between city officials and Hagemeister about this, so
Well, I can appreciate it, but if it was not approved by the council, it's not a contract.
I understand it's not a
Whether it's signed
contract.
there or not.
My point would be it still can be an obligation.
Alderman Nenning?
I noticed in the email on July 24th, 2012 from Jim Ewer that there's a file in the iDrive that was supposedly the bathroom lease agreement. Is that still on the iDrive?
That was the draft agreement that was drafted up, yes,
And you're sure it was never executed?
yes.
Is there anything else in that agreement that we should be aware of?
So we actually use that agreement as a template in drafting up the one that's moving forward. And so that agreement, I imagine, never got finished because it was a shell more than anything else. It had some basic terms in it, but it didn't have the bathroom times of use in it.
So it was 6 years ending in 2018.
Correct.
It seems to me, and I'm kind of reading between the lines here, but it seems to me that it was tied up with the ice rink, the Ameriprise plastic artificial ice rink that was placed there, and the city was operating that, and part of that was located on Hagemeister Park's property, so.
That's what I was
it was
just
kind
gonna
of
say.
a kind of a deal relating to that.
And because it's
You're
no
right.
longer there, is that why it was reduced from 5,000 to 3,500?
Yep, that's exactly what we did.
Right. Alderman Zima?
Well, there's a little thing called notice of claim. If they thought they had a claim against us, they have to do it within so many days. I think it's 120 days of when they have their claim. And of course, if we were supposed to be paying this because we had some kind of informal agreement that never passed the council, I don't see how they've got 5 years coming. The most they'd have is maybe the last 6 months or whenever they filed a notice of claim. And there's been no notice of claim. I don't understand the thinking that we're obligated somehow, that we've got self-enrichment. If they thought they were being shortchanged, they should have brought this forward a lot sooner than now. And then the council would have probably made a decision about it a long time ago, and maybe it would have been positive, maybe not. So I don't think that argument holds any water at all, because I'm just a sawmill lawyer, it's been around for a long time, and I don't really know the law. But I know that you have to have a notice of claim if you feel that you're owed something. And it's only coming up now, and we're paying 5 years back pay. I think it has to be looked in farther than this.
So I can address that. So
Yes.
our claims, our notice of claims apply to tort claims. This is not a tort claim, this would be a contract claim. And so that statute of limitations is different. More importantly, this is a continuing obligation, and so they would not have that same limitation on them.
But we don't have a contract.
Correct, but unjust enrichment is still a contract claim, it's not a tort claim.
Seems to me that the committee has to make a decision, maybe we need time to think about it, but you have to decide whether we think the public bathroom should be there or not, and maybe we could put it out to bid even. I think this is so gutsy. I think it's beyond the pale. I know I would be happy to have all that outside business come into my place, and I wouldn't worry if they use the bathroom or not.
So,
I would just say, look, I mean, as a father of a 7-year-old who plays in the splash pad, and we go down there probably 20 to 30 times a year, yeah, public bathroom is absolutely necessary, and to think we're gonna get it anywhere cheaper than $3,500. And I would say I do not bring my 7-year-old into Hagemeister Park, when she's using those bathrooms. So, I mean, and I think that there's a lot of people in that same situation, because very rarely is she running through that splash pad alone. They get a lot of use, and I see great value in having them. And I think the worst case scenario is that door becomes a wall, and then there's no more access from that city deck anymore. Because now you're going into the Broken Spoke, and you're going into the cafe, and you're going into the Watermark building and trying to ask where bathrooms are? Or are you dealing with people going behind dumpsters and bushes and trying to hide it? I don't know,
Mr. Chairman.
I think there's just good business. I think that a contract was in place, it just never got signed. I mean, like I said, the emails are here, the link is here. It said, here's the contract, here's the terms. Don't send it over till I talk to Dawn and the mayor, and from that point, we don't know what happened to it. Yes, Alderman Dwayne, sorry.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, I can tell you right now, Jess Miller is not gonna put any wall up there. I mean, I've talked to him many times. This guy makes hundreds of thousands of dollars on all these events out there. And if we didn't pay this, you think he's gonna come after us and say, I wanna close my doors? I don't want that money anymore? I mean.
The back door can be
Yeah,
open, the bathroom
yeah.
door can be closed.
But they're not gonna do that for their patrons, and they're not gonna do that because of. That's ludicrous, I think that.
I just want to say that certainly I've used that with my grandchildren too, and you don't even go into Hagemeister Park to
Right.
use it. Perhaps Alderson has not been there, but it's outside of, and in fact, you have to leave the restaurant in order to use the restroom.
Right.
We go there for breakfast with Santa every year, and it's a long way to go to the bathroom, but it's convenient for the public that the bathroom is where it's placed. And when I think of how much the bathrooms at Red Smith are going to cost, $3,500 a year is a bargain. And our public has the right to have a public bathroom down there, and it's very convenient.
Well, we have public investment into Hagemeister Park as well. I mean, ensuring its success is, part of our responsibility. I mean, we want to
I
be
agree
paid
with
back.
that.
If we
I
want to
agree
be
with that.
paid back, we got to make sure that it's a successful business, and I think that this helps. I'm sorry, yes.
Very trivial, but I started attending development meetings in November of 2016, and that was a topic already about Jeff had requested again his payment. In the last year, since 2017, we have probably at least once a month talked about Hagermeister bathrooms. Who has more documentation? As Vanessa had said, and our attorney had said earlier, we have dug and looked in every possible place for this agreement. It took months. Then we went back to them, unfortunately, and asked them for a copy of the agreement. They couldn't come up with any either. So I know since November of 16, and they had previously talked about it before I started attending meetings. So it's not that they just, in 2018, asked for their money.
You don't think
It's
they-
been going on for a while.
I don't think Hagemeister has an issue with that, they know that there's not a written contract, correct?
Well, there is now.
There will be an agreement moving forward. This is just paying for past due amounts.
And you're talking about 1 year.
1 year,
So would it be yearly from now on?
Correct.
When are you gonna do that?
we already did.
Because you said we're gonna do it, so that's why I questioned. Because I was hoping if you said you're gonna, that it would come to the council for discussion.
Did it go to Park Committee?
I don't think the restrooms are not a park facility, so, did not. That went through our committee, like you
This is
said, during the
budgetary.
budget process with Johnny labeling out, we budgeted $5,000 per year to cover this. We did not budget anything for the back pay.
Well, I'm just one person. I know where you're all coming from. I think that guy makes hundreds of thousands of dollars off us, and I think we ought to sit down with him, have him come in, have a little discussion.
Is that a motion for you to further negotiate this?
Yes, I'll make that motion. I'd like to have him come in and, so we can just discuss. I mean, obviously, the motion here would be to pay this.
I'll take a second. Is there a second for discussion?
Second.
And we have a second for discussion. I mean, I'm in support of paying the debt. Lannister always pays his debts.
Right.
But I think that, you know, look, whether we pay this debt today or whether we pay this debt in a month, it's not going to go away. So I think it is worth talking about a little bit more. I mean, I think obviously you guys have already had these discussions and conversation, but I think you just need to go back and say, look, brought it to the committee and the committee wants us to talk some more about it.
I'd like clarification on the motion. Is your motion that
Well,
just,
we gotta get rid of this first part, and then I'd like to make a motion that we, well, yeah, how are we gonna do that?
You could make a motion that we refer this back to staff to continue negotiations.
Bring the contract back.
I'll make that motion.
so you're not asking that they come to the committee?
I would like them to come, that's what I mean. I'd like to,
That's why I'm asking.
Yes, I would
So
like
your
them to
motion
come to
is-
me, yes.
Is to ask Miller to come before this committee.
right,
I'll second that.
for discussion.
More discussion. Okay. So we have a motion and we have a second on the floor to refer this back to staff, bring it back to our next finance meeting, along with interested parties from Eggemeister Park. Sound right?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, it's a 2-1.
I'll go with time.
It's a 3-1. Okay, item number 6, discussion with possible action on funding the Oneida 7 Generations Corp. settlement and strategy to be adopted by the city with respect to arbitration proceedings the city is involved in with Cities and Villages Mutual Insurance Company.
Do we need a
Probably want to
closed
go into
session?
closed session on this,
So-
or how much of this can stay open?
That's actually what I wanted to talk to you about. So the majority of this actually does need to be done in open session. The exception to that is when we start talking about how we're gonna pay for that, we should go through those options in closed session because it will affect our strategy with CIVMIC and our arbitration. And so with that, once you guys get to that point, we do need to go into closed session.
Okay, we'll open it up here. First, does the committee have any specific questions on this? Otherwise, I'll just have our attorney come on up and address it.
Just have Vanessa speak.
Okay.
Okay, so as you guys are aware, council approved the settlement agreement with the Oneida 7 Trust Corporation back in November. We now actually need to figure out how that payment is going to be made. And so with that, I know that Diana has a recommendation for you. Like I said, I think that those are the types of things that need to be discussed in closed session, that we can report what her decision is when we get back out. But if you have any questions for me outside of that, now's the time to look.
Any discussion? Anybody from the audience? Okay,
Let's go to closed session.
we have a motion to go to closed session
Second.
and a second.
You want me to read it?
Yes, could you read the language, please?
The committee may convene in closed session pursuant to section 19.851G, Wisconsin statutes, for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The council may thereafter reconvene in open session pursuant to section 19.852 Wisconsin statutes to report the results of the closed session and consider the balance of the agenda.
We'll take a roll call vote. Alderman Slottick?
Aye.
Alderman Dwayne?
Aye.
Alderman Stoyer?
Aye.
Alderman Moore? Aye. Okay, we're in the closed session. Who wants to make the motion on this when we
You ready?
return?
Yep. It doesn't look like you're on.
Make a motion to,
We'll get it done before Jonathan comes in.
Say it before he gets here.
And all right.
Go ahead, say
Okay,
it.
yep.
Motion to direct finance staff to move forward with what we discussed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and if we could just clarify that these funds would be distributed from the fund balance. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None?
Move to adjourn. No report.
by the finance.
Receive and place on file.
Item number 7, report by finance director, anything today?
Same old thing, year end, get ready for audit.
Yippee.
Okay, I'll take a motion on that to receive, place on file, second. And
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
all right.